Hey folks, Toaster back. Got an ace tanker today. We're in the T-50, which is one of my favorite Tier 5 light tanks. It has almost 34% camo, and with food, I've got 433 meters of view range. And so I am platooned with combat ineffective in his T-34, and he is attempting to go up the Russian line and get the Russian medium. So at any rate, there's only one light tank per team, and this is probably the best spotting map, Malinovka. And so we're going to go ahead and get aggressive because we can. And also, we're at tier 5, so a lot of guys are not used to firing at fast tanks. And look at the size of this thing. It is minuscule compared to other tanks of the tier. And so it's hard to hit, and it's also got sloped armor that bounces weird stuff at weird angles oftentimes. So at any rate, I've told my team, as you can see by the blinking in the corner that won't stop, that I'm going to spot things that are coming here, and I'm going to show you guys how we end up playing this map and what we do and what we figure out from when we get spotted, right? So, of course, I've got pole position, so I know I'm going to get into this bush before anybody gets into the opposing bush. And this ELC decides to take an unusual line and crosses and ends up getting spotted, right? And so he's in a world of trouble. He is just trying to survive, right? And he does, actually, for a long time. So we've got a few people lit here, and we're gonna go ahead and sit here and get some assist. And in low tiers, my goodness, those poor guys. I almost feel bad seal clubbing in this thing but the bottom line is combat needed somebody to help him, so that's the excuse I'm using, and I'm sticking to it. So you notice how close that ELC is to me, and he's not spotting me. That's that wonderful camo plus the bush, so I probably got 65-70% camo in this bush. And if he has 400 meters of view range, I mean, he's unlikely to spot me in that position. So he's off and running, and to me, that means it's time to move up, right? It's time to try and get some more spotting or keep him lit if I can. So Combat and I are on comms. We're communicating, and I'm letting him know what I do and what I'm going to do, and I also let him know if I get lit. He says that he fired up to this hill with the bush so where he could see through it, and he did not get lit. And I think that means that the guy's not there. In fact, there is somebody there. And we're going to see that in just a minute. So you noticed I haven't got any spots in a little bit, right? And I'm kind of awaiting somebody to kind of climb up in here and fire, because if they do that, they're going to die. But that does not happen. So you've got to realize when it's time to cut and run. And just about when I was going to leave, this ELC shows up. Poor guy. Everywhere he goes, I'm there, right? And that's partly inexperience. I might have spotted him from the bushes back here, but it's depends on his camo rating a lot. So we do move up. I was going to get into the bush, the opposite bush, and if you can get there, you can just perma-light people. But apparently there's someone around there, so we're going to go ahead and back off as best we can, as already shooting at us. We got shots coming in from every direction, and again, you can get away with that at this tier because people just aren't quite as good at aiming. The guns aren't quite as accurate, so I would have died in a tier 10 game if I had pulled that maneuver, but I wouldn't have pulled that maneuver in a tier 10 game, right? So if you guys are trying to learn to use your lights, these lower tiers are a good place, especially they've upgraded the health on a lot of these. And so as we get lit, and so One thing I want to point out. So when I was down here, I'm almost certain there's got to be somebody on this hill. That's the only way I would have got spotted. These guys back here, where I was in a ditch. So the only place I could have got spotted is up here or where I'm at right now if they were on one of those ridges. But I would have spotted them as well. So I'm almost certain there's somebody in this bush here. Now, I also got spotted when I took this line up here. So I'm thinking there might actually be someone in these bushes somewhere, or maybe someone has binos and they can see me, or perhaps back here and they see me, but that is a stretch because of my camo, right? So I think someone's down in here maybe, and it might be that ELC. We'll never know, but that's where I'm surmising that I got spotted from. So let's continue the replay. So now you're going to watch me. I'm staying below that ridge, and I'm just pulling up here nice and slow, and I pull back a little bit just to see if I get lit, and I don't. So we're just watching this KV-1 get melted, right? And it kind of sucks for him because he has no chance of spotting us. But that's... C'est la vie. That's the life of a heavy tank on a big map. He is surviving for a while just because he does have a fair amount of armor. But with 3 artillery on each team, it's going to be a rough go. And he does go down. So that brings us up to 1,100 spotting, which, you know, in a Tier 5 game is pretty good. That's probably at least 3 full tanks that we've spotted. And we spot the bishop, and we decide we're going to push down here because they have given up map control here. So we're going to go ahead and pop up here, and that M4A1 does the right thing and gets out, right? There's no reason to stay there because if he does stay there, he's going to get pummeled by Artie. So my only wish was that our Artie would hit their Artie. You know, they're in positions that they probably could, or at least splash him, but they don't, and the bishop gets a rather lucky shot. A rather lucky shot into me. But now I know he's fired. He's not going to be able to hit me for a while. And here comes this M10, and I'm telling Combat, this M10 is coming after me. And I intentionally shoot his track, and he gets dissolved, right? So that puts us up to 1,700 assist. I apologize that my Steam friends are contacting me, but that's part of the deal on this channel. You get what you pay for. Now, a lot of people don't know that you can spot tanks through dead tanks. They don't really exist, and so try as this bishop might, he is not going to be able to shoot at me. And I can keep him spotted all day. He is keeping me spotted, but that's okay. We're able to put a few shots. Now this gun, 70 damage, 90 penetration. So I do use a fair amount of gold in this thing, just because 90 penetration is tough. And you get 130. It's like almost 50% more with the gold rounds. So now that we've cleared off that artillery, I'm trying to see if I can get up in these bushes, and there is something spotting me, and I assume it's probably that M4A1 or the Panzer 4H. Someone is back in those bushes just where I'm looking there. And I know that because nobody is up on this rock anymore. I would have spotted them. So now I know that somebody is spotting me from this side, right? So I'm just using that information to let my platoon mate know, okay, be careful of this area and be careful of this area here. So, and for whatever reason, that M4A1 decides to fire, and he has got to run for his life now. And that puts us up to just right at 2,000 assist. And one thing in this dip, it's very hard for Artie to hit you. As you notice, the shots are coming in all around me, but I'm relatively safe. That one shot by the bishop was kind of lucky. See, these guys are hitting down here. So now that that guy is gone, I'm going to test and see if I can get my driving skills under control. I'm going to test and see if I get lit going up here. See our Cavalier driving down through the middle? I don't know if he's lit or not, but one thing about it is if he does get lit and he gets fired upon, then I can fire back, basically, because I will spot the enemy. So I'm using him being kind of out in the open as a way to farm damage. So you can see it takes a while. That's a T-67. Look how long it took to kill him. So we're going to fire some blind shots because why not? And some of those actually do hit. And now that our Cavalier's dead, it's time to move forward. But I'm waiting for my teammate to get in position here, and we're able to move forward. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that I use the distraction of my platoon mate to get in close, and I tell him, just stay safe from Artie. I'm going to push in, and I will light the Arties for you. And that's exactly what we do. I don't know if I lit that one or not, but I certainly lit the other one. So that's 2 Arties down, and puts us up to 2,200 assist. And I'm not even going to fire on that guy because I assume I'm probably still lit. At this point, I'm certainly unlit. So we're going to go ahead and put a shot or two in. And it looks like combat finishes them off. And now it's just cleanup, you know. But we're up to 3,200 combined in a tier 5 tank. Yeah, we'll take that any day of the week. So I don't know if this guy is blind or no, he does see me when I fire, but only when I fire, and I was probably only 150 meters away from him. So I think of going after the IKV, but this guy is just kind of driving in the open and totally ignoring me. So I figure I better help my teammate out, and we're able to help assist in the kill there. And we don't get any damage on this IKV, unfortunately, but that's the breaks of having a really small tank, as you don't see over that hill at all. So that's the game. Let's go ahead and look at the after action report and see how we did. Okay, well, that was an ace tanker, and we got the 2 medals that I really like to get in a light tank, and that's scout and patrol duty. That means that we spotted at least 6 enemies that people did damage to, and we spotted at least 9 tanks. So we were top of the team. Combat did 1,900 damage. I did 1,000. So that's like 3,000 damage plus my assist. We basically almost the entire enemy team. Now, this poor ELC, he must have done some spotting, but I almost felt bad playing against him. I mean, these guys are newer players, so I don't play low tiers much because of that. But 28 shots fired, 15 hits, 15 pens, so everything we hit, we penned. And you fire a lot of shots out of that, obviously, because it's such a low damage gun. And we got 2,500 assists, so that's 3,600 combined, give or take. And we're happy with that result. And I had a premium account. We didn't fire gold rounds, so we made 45,000 credits, and we ended up with 3,200 XP after all the payouts and the premium account and all that stuff. So appreciate you guys watching. We will catch you guys on the next one. Tonester out.